So you wake up, you check the coop, you check your laying boxes, and you just discover that egg count is down. You discover that maybe the number of eggs you are expecting is not the number of eggs you are getting, or maybe the weight that you are expecting your broiler birds to gain is not what they are having. Every farmer at a certain point in time experiences these ups and downs in production, but just if you know how to handle it. So today I'll teach you how to stop guessing and just how to start solving, how to get your production numbers okay, how to get your birds lay consistently in an ever increasing number. Seraph here, and in my short journey as a poultry farmer, believe me, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've even seen the confusing, and it's quite frustrating. It's not a very, very good thing when you have your birds lay well today or lay well for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then another period shows up and their production just goes down, and after a particular period of time, maybe it comes up. After you trying and guessing from here and here, trying this and trying that, it comes up. After some time it goes down without you knowing what particular factor is behind all of these fluctuations. Today's video is right here, and I will share with you the reasons behind these fluctuations and what you can do exactly to make sure that you maintain a consistent and of course a constant production of eggs on your farm. If you're new to the channel, kindly hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get notified just when we drop yet another video. This is Farm Life. Welcome back. Now I'm going to be giving a number of things by experience, not just by head knowledge, by experience, that are responsible for fluctuations in production, particularly in layer poultry farming. And I'll give a number of reasons. You just need to watch the video to the end, because maybe the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that you're not a victim of, but the next I'll be talking about might be something that you're entangled in. Now, after visiting a few farms and hearing from other farmers that will complain to me about the fact that their production is fluctuating a lot, one of the first things that is responsible for those fluctuations most times is changing feed. You see, you have people that move from one poultry farm to the other, taking formulas, feeding formulas from here and there, trying this, trying that, and all of those things, they end up confusing the system of the bird. And when you change feed, it causes stress in a way. When you switch feed impromptu, when you just switch feed directly, maybe you move from a previous kind of feed you have been using to another feed formula, and you move to another feed formula, all in a bid to maximize profit and to reduce expenses. When you do all of these things regularly, it begins to affect even the production of the birds. So what is my recommendation as far as feeds for your layer birds are concerned? I will tell you that find a formula, maybe from a vet or from a neighboring farm that is trusted, that has results. Find a formula from somebody reputable and use, and stay consistent on that formula. Believe me, if the formula is giving you the required results, stay on that formula, maximize that formula. And even if at some point you have to change feeds, maybe for some reasons, maybe an ingredient is not available and you have to look for a substitute, or maybe the prices of some ingredients have gone up and you're looking for substitute or alternatives, you should get a quantity of the old feed and a quantity of the new feed and combine. When you do this, your birds start becoming used to the taste of the new feed instead of you just switching it directly from the old feed to the new feed. You see that disruption in taste can go a long way to cause a fluctuation, believe me. So the fact that you change a lot of feed formulas, the fact that you use different feeding brands on your birds and you change them just anytime you want, could be a reason why you suffer those fluctuations. This is, to me, one of those things that if you're able to sort out, believe me, you will have a consistent production as far as laying of eggs are concerned on your farm. Now, the second thing I want to talk about that is responsible, or that is hidden right behind the fluctuative productions that a number of people have on their farms, is what I will call failing to observe their routine practices, most especially deworming their birds. Of course, you should have a schedule, a specific schedule or a specific interval to which you use to deworm your birds. Yes, if it's monthly, if it's after every 2 months, you must make sure you do that, because once the schedule for deworming has passed, believe me, you will just see production going down. And if you're not careful, you will go and start changing feed formulas, you go and start doing all kind of things, giving boosters to your eggs which are not even necessary. Meanwhile, you have just missed out on one of the very, very important routines. So have a deworming routine, have a routine to which you deworm your birds. You can go to the calendar on your phone and you set an event, you set a reminder, a monthly reminder or a reminder after every 2 months, depending on which dewormer you are using and how frequent you have to deworm your birds. So you just need to check that down. Go to your calendar on your phone or somewhere and just set an alarm, set a reminder to remind you that after this particular interval you have to deworm your birds, so that you keep those routines in checks. If you have to give your birds multivitamins at a particular interval, you have to do that. If you have to feed your birds at a particular period of the day, you have to do that. All of those are routine practices, and by the time you start skipping routine practices and low production steps in, it becomes difficult for you to even trace where the problem is coming from. And it is from this that you see a lot of people, they go ahead, they start changing feeds, adding boosters and so many other things into the feeds of the birds, which simply is not necessary. Now, the third thing that is responsible for fluctuations in production, that has very, very adverse effects on every farmer is failing to observe and monitor the health of your birds. Believe me, when your birds get sick, a lot of things happen. Yes, you know, it's not just the birds that get sick. When they get sick, they will not lay. That's the first thing. And when they don't lay, remember that they will eat. Sometimes they will be sick, but they are going to eat, but they are not going to lay. That simply means that they are consuming, they are increasing the cost, and they are not producing. So in other words, you're under losses. You're not doing profits. You're not having profits. So you must make sure that you observe your birds, monitor your birds, observe them. When you see strange things, start doing investigations and start solving things as fast as you can. Or you discover that their litter or their droppings are giving you signs of coccidiosis. That's a sign if you ignore, and 4 days later or 5 days later you discover that maybe 80 or 60 or 50% of the flock is infected with that, and production is bound to go down. So monitor the health of your birds, practice biosecurity. Believe me, don't allow just anybody enter into your pen house. Don't allow even your workers enter there without them soaking their boots into the food dip. So you don't have to wait until it's obvious that the birds are sick. You can see some signs and you begin to give attention to those signs. It's going to go a long way to prevent your production from going down. So monitor your birds closely. Move inside of your chicken house from time to time. Just observe their litter. Be sure that the litter is dry. Be sure that the birds are doing okay. You don't have to wait until they get sick before you take action. So just make sure you closely monitor and observe the health of your birds daily. The fourth thing I want to talk about, very, very important, which is a very, very silent partner, is your lighting habits. Come on, a bird that is laying needs nothing less than 15 to 16 hours of light daily. So make sure that your birds receive adequate light. Natural light or the sunlight cannot give us 16 hours of light. I intentionally turned on my bulb, as you will see on the background there. I intentionally turned on my bulb so that it can bring perspective to what I'm saying. Depending on the breed, but mostly laying birds need like 15 to 16 hours of light, and a number of people play a lot of negligence as far as this is concerned. You must make sure that your birds are exposed to the adequate or the proper lighting conditions. Natural light will give us just about 12 hours of light, so you must find a way of adding them, say 4 extra hours of light, maybe 2 hours of light later in the evening and 2 hours of light earlier before it's done in the morning. On the farm here, our lights go out most times at about 8:30 and it comes on at about 4 a.m. in the morning. So this helps us ensure that our birds have 12 hours of natural light during the day, they have 2 hours of artificial lights during the evening, that makes it 14, and they have 2 hours of artificial light early in the morning. That gives us 16 hours of light. And believe me, light has a role to play, as even as far as the quality of your eggs are concerned, as far as the color of your eggshell is concerned. Lighting has a role to play. Take your lighting very, very serious. We live in a digital world where you can use your devices to help you control a lot of things. You can even get an automated lighting system that comes on automatically at a particular time and goes off by itself at a particular time. If that's a problem, you can as well well set alarms to say that your phone should remind you at a particular time that you should turn off the lights, and at a particular time that you should turn on the lights. But just make sure that your birds receive adequate lighting. Just make sure that your birds receive proper lighting, not just any kind of lighting per se, but lighting that you know can substitute natural light. Now, the fifth thing I want to talk about is the nature of water that you give to your birds. You must check to make sure that the water is clean. If the water is not that clean, you must try as much as you can to filter the water. Is that okay? So make sure the birds have clean water. Make sure if you're using this kind of drinkers you see here, if you're using these automated drinkers, make sure you wash your drinkers. It needs you to wash them at times 2 times, 3 times a day, because as the birds dig through the litter, as they raise dust around, it settles on that drinker, and if you don't wash it, they will drink water that is mixed with dirt, and it can go ahead to cause health problems. It is the primary cause for coccidiosis. So make sure that your birds always have access to clean water, clean and fresh water. Clean the drinkers as frequently as you can. I think 2 times is okay, 2 or 3 times a day is okay. Just wash the drinkers and remove them, disconnect them periodically, maybe once a week or at a particular interval, and just disinfect the entire drinking system. Just flush the pipes that sends water to those drinkers to make sure that the birds have clean water. So 5 important things I've highlighted. I've spoken about their feet. Make sure you don't change feet so frequently. Make sure you don't change brands for feet just frequently as you like. The second thing I've spoken about is make sure that you pay attention to your routine practices. The third thing I've spoken about is to pay attention to the health of your blocks. Closely monitor your birds, look at your birds, check on your birds on a daily basis. The fourth thing I've spoken about the lighting conditions of the birds. Make sure you give your birds adequate light. Light has a very, very important role, just like water, just like feet. It has a very, very important role to play in the life of every bird. And the last thing I've spoken about is making sure that your birds have access to clean and fresh water. Make sure you clean your drinkers. Make sure you wash your drinkers periodically. Make sure you disinfect the drinkers. If your water is not clean, try to install a filtering system. Make sure the water is filtered, because just like you need clean water, your birds also need clean water. So if you've watched the video to this end, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, come on, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you get just notified when we drop our next video. From here we say bye bye.